Eventually, she rings the bell under my face once more, letting the dollar bill flutter by. And then one final time, only on this one, making an incredible Dude Perfect worthy mid-air grab right at the warning track. From there, it was pretty straightforward for her to stash both of the final bills. Registering a completion of the puzzle through the NFC reader, giving her both a jump scare and the tools she'd need for puzzle 5, the fishing hole. And unfortunately for Cheryl, she hops on over to the newly lit puzzle without realizing this is a bring your own pole type of situation, which once again puts her at a dead end. But at this point, she seemed to have an understanding of the cause and effect relationship between the puzzles. So she scoots herself back over to the cash grab, grabs the tool, and then makes her way back. And on her first attempt, she tries to sort of wedge the cup with the stick, which clearly wasn't going to work. Which leads to what is quite possibly one of the coolest things I have ever seen, as she goes full-on blacksmith mode, hammering away, fashioning the end of the stick into a hook, at which point she drops it back in and successfully retrieves the cup. This, of course, is registered by the strain gauge, which communicates to the microcontroller, paving the way to the cup stack. And I knew this would likely be one of the easier puzzles for her since she played with a similar toy a bunch at home. The trick would be if she could figure out the final cup in the stack was the one she caught from the previous puzzle. And sure enough, without too much difficulty, she stacks the first cup, and with just a little more difficulty, she stacks the second one. But once again, when no new lights come on, she quickly figures out our clever trick and out-clevers us, retrieving the top cup and bringing it back to complete the copper tape circuit, allowing her to move on to the crowd favorite, the tourist trap. Cheryl had earned every bit of a break by somehow making it this far. Plus, I figured she could use a little caloric nugget boost to give her the energy and motivation to finish this out. And in exchange for all that, she did not disappoint with the snapshot worthy of a postcard, which meant it was on to the penultimate puzzle, the shipwreck. And the calorie boost seemed to pay off, because without a whole lot to interact with here, she pretty quickly figured out she should just pull out the cork, showcasing her very skillful beak-claw coordination in the process. And as soon as she pulled it out far enough to teeter the ship, the tilt switch passed on the input signal, revealing to the room the final boss. And of course, I've shown just the highlights here from all her attempts on the puzzles, but she'd somehow persevered and made it this far, which meant if she figured this out, it would be an absolute clean sweep. So after sizing up the situation and considering all the options, she comes to the correct conclusion and teams up with Gravity, exposing the IR emitter, which gives the final signal it is time for her to enjoy the greatest meal of her little feathered life. And to no one's surprise, after solving all the complex puzzles in this escape room gauntlet, it was a pretty simple task to get right to the nugs. But before she even finished her long-coveted, well-earned reward, she delighted me with one final touching surprise as she grabbed another nug, slathered it in a little dipping sauce, and then offered it up, almost as a gesture of mutual respect and goodwill between our species.